This is a practice in which we're going to view life from a different perspective. Are you ready? Okay. But I have to warn you, if we do this well, it may challenge our egos, undermine our stories, chip away at political and religious ideologies, even question notions of unfettered capitalism. And we're going to do it all in the next 13 minutes by talking about grace, luck, and buttered toast. Butter side up. In grad school, my friend Dorothy, her nickname for me was Butter Side Up. She used to say with no lack of eye rolling that if you threw me out there into the adversity of life, odds were I was going to land butter side up. Now, she saw me as chronically lucky, and I'll take that over skill any day. But the question for me is always, why? Why butter side up and not down? This is my sister and me, and about the time that I was born, my parents were told in the language of the day that she had retardation. And they were given no explanation for why. So today, she lives in a group home, and she functions at roughly a 5-year-old level. She struggles with anxiety and some compulsive behaviors. Why is she mentally handicapped and not me? See, why questions like this have plagued me as long as I can remember. And my answer today is different from the endless stream of anecdotal business books that are out there. It's different, it's shorter, and it's probably a little less satisfying to our egos. And it goes something like this. I didn't earn what I have, and you didn't either. Okay, we have what we have because of grace. 99.9% grace. Or, if you prefer, its secular cousin luck. Now, I'm going to use grace and luck interchangeably today, but suffice it to say that grace is a gift and presumes some cosmic giver, whereas luck presumes nothing. Now, we can't earn luck. It simply arises, good or bad. And I tell you today, when I look at the impressive people in this room, I tell you that your success is 99.9% due to luck. Now, however you define that success, whether it's material wealth, happiness, doing what you love, enlightenment, even helping other people, are 99.9% due to the grace of the universe falling upon your life like so many snowflakes on a powder day. You didn't earn it. Almost nothing you've done earned or deserves the life that you live. Okay, now if you're human, you're probably having a little resistance to this idea right now, okay? Don't worry about it. It's just your ego, okay? It's just your ego. Tell your ego that it can relax. It can completely reject my little luck theory here as soon as I'm done. Now, I know that might be a little easier said than done. So I'm going to try and lay down a little bit of evidence here to help shift us into that perspective. The physicist, I like to start at the beginning, and I mean the beginning. So the physicist Brian Swim once summarized the history of the universe in one sentence when he said, if you take some hydrogen gas and you let it sit around for 13 billion years, it turns into roses, giraffes, and us. See, I love that. We're standing here on the shoulders of 13.7 billion years of evolution, and I'm not aware of having done anything to have earned that. Ask yourself this question. Did you earn the time and history or the geographic location of your birth? Would that have made any difference in your life? How many of you wear corrective lenses? Without contacts, I'm legally blind. Without appendectomies, I would probably be dead. Now, I didn't earn my access, the advances, those medical advances, or my access to them. Did we earn our parents, our friends, our teachers, the communities that loved us and encouraged us to grow? Do we earn the color of our skin or our gender? Do we earn our looks or our work ethic or our genetic predispositions? And what about those serendipitous mistakes or misfortunes that maybe sent our life in a whole new direction? When we look back at it now, we wouldn't trade that for anything. And then, of course, there's infrastructure. I didn't earn the SBA program that financed my startups and acquisitions. I didn't earn my public school education or that of my staff members. Nor did I build the roads or the interstates used to bring supplies to my businesses every day. But let's talk about what we do earn. This yellow line that represents the average income for the top 1% over the last 30 years, and the red line is for the bottom 90% over the same period of time. Now, if we apply the assumptions of the American dream, we assume that the 1% simply work harder, right? About 36 times harder. And so like you worked 50 hours last week, the 1% worked 1,800 hours. Don't laugh. You can't argue with the math, and you can't argue with the American dream. Or can you? See, recently, there's a growing body of research supporting this luck theory when applied to economic success by the likes of Daniel Kahneman, Nassim Taleb, and most recently, Joseph Farrione of the University of Minnesota, who concludes that in a capitalist society, extreme success is not derived from large differences in skills, intelligence, or hard work, nor is it primarily from backroom deals, crookedness, or connections. Instead, most extreme wealth comes from luck. But even without that kind of data, we simply need to ask, with all these things that we didn't earn, where would we be? Alive, healthy, happy, hungry, married, educated, in prison, literate? Would I have access to clean water or electricity? I mean, just change one or two factors and the odds of little old me having things this good, it's pretty slim. Particularly when you consider that by most measures, all of us in this room are better off than roughly 95% of the rest of our fellow human beings. Okay, so what? I mean, why am I kicking this horse? Well, this perspective matters. And it's generally absent from the national and the global conversation. My point is that things look different through this lens. Just pretend that I've convinced you for a moment, okay? That our success or failure is primarily due to luck. Just try and relax into that perspective for a moment. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just consider the following statements. Is life fair? Is there such a thing as a self-made billionaire? Why do I judge those who experience great success and great failure differently? Why are poor people poor and rich people rich? And why is the gap getting so big so fast? What are you actually in control of? And where's free will play out in all of this? Okay, you can open your eyes now. You see, through this lens changes the way that I see myself and others, okay? When I look at the impressive group of people here today and have been speaking and all their accomplishments, I'm not so much impressed by you individually as I am in awe of the creative force of the universe and the conspiracy of events that's resulted in your particular manifestation. It's truly astounding. And when somebody compliments me on my accomplishments, part of me sees the absurdity in it. It's kind of like complimenting a winning poker player who stays in the game with pocket aces. Now, I admit, I work hard, I do. But if great wealth and success comes simply from honest hard work, then there's a lot of women in Africa and a lot of field workers around the world that should be far better off than you and me. But here's the thing. Without a lens that sees the impact of luck, our ego, it looks at the hand that we're dealt. And it creates a story where we've earned and deserve our fortune. Our separate small self remains center stage. It feels in control and justified. But it hijacks our focus. It keeps us nearsighted, and it hampers our capacity to see others and to care and to share. Now, it may sound like it, but I'm no fatalist. You see, the part of the equation that I left out is where things get really interesting. If we have free will at all, here's where it shows up. Here's where we get to play out the hand. You see, we've established that the lion's share of this is luck. But I break the rest down into two parts. The first is acceptance. Accepting the 99.9% as it is without too much judgment. You see, if we can accept the inertia of luck, then we free up mental bandwidth to focus on where the real leverage is, where we can change course, where we can make a difference. Which brings us to the next 0.5%, which is attention. Choosing what to give our attention and our intentions to. The Zen teacher Diane Hamilton said, "To the degree that we have free will, I believe it resides in what we choose to pay attention to." Now for me, I can tell you that the central focus of my life going forward will be on increasing my ability to accept life as it is and increasing my ability to focus my attention on my intentions so that I can change and improve life. Now, yes, I see the contradiction there. I want to accept life on the one hand and I want to change it on the other hand. But the surface contradiction of that goes away for me when I stop identifying so much with my separate, small, egoic self, and I realize that I'm not separate from life. I'm an evolving participant in life. I am life. We are life. And in accepting life as it is, we accept ourselves. Now, when I look at this equation and I feel the proportionality of it, I find it both humbling and liberating. You see, acceptance and attention are proportionally the size of a trim tab on an ocean liner. Now, if you're not familiar with the idea of the trim tab, you should Google it, because acceptance and attention are the trim tab of our lives. This 0.1% is the tiny little mechanism that can change the course of a massive vessel. And we are vessels. And there's more good news. You see, the strength of our attention and our intention, it can be increased through various practices. In fact, that's what we've been doing for the last 13 minutes here. You see, the practice of simply imagining that our life and our situation is primarily the result of luck and not the result of our own moral superiority, well, it frees up and loosens our small egoic self. Our world gets a little bit bigger, and we're free to identify more with those outside of our small self. The neuropsychologist, Dr. Rick Hansen, suggests that when we consider the inequalities of life from a place of non-blame and non-judgment, not only are we happier, but we're also more likely to act, and act from a place of compassion and abundance and creativity instead of fear and scarcity. So in order to recognize the importance of acceptance and attention, it helps if we can first experience our lives simply as grace. And the more I think about it, the more I'm certain that grace is at work in that 1% as well, that 0.1% as well. Experiences both big and small impact my attention and my ability to accept life as it is. My sister's life. A TED Talk that somebody emailed me the other day. A teacher that challenged me to just sit. These are grace too. Now, 25 years ago, my dad gave me a book by the theologian Frederick Buechner. And this quote's always stayed with me. He said, "Grace is something that you can never get, but only be given. There's no way to earn it or deserve it or bring it about any more than you can deserve the taste of raspberries and cream, earn good looks, or bring about your own birth." But Buechner says there's a catch. Like any other gift, the gift of grace can be yours only if you'll accept it. And maybe being able to accept it is a gift too. And so I end where I began, with toast. Literally. To my sister, whose presence opened me to this experience and this perspective. To you all today for considering it along with me. And to our lives. Because in the big scheme of things, our lives are short. And in the end, we're all, well, toast. So I say to you, butter side up. Thank you.